Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Barb, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jerry Tremaine.
Here.
Sorry, Steve. Councilmember Joe Muehlbauer.
Here.
Mayor Steve Feldman.
Here.
Councilmember Robert Bauer.
Here.
Councilmember Rich Square.
Here. All right, before we start tonight, I want to bring up something that's a little hangover from last meeting. There was a gentleman here who happens, I know him well. He brought up an issue, and his temperament got the best of him. So I want to tell everybody here, one of the jobs the mayor does is control the meetings, and I intend to do just that. We want your engagement. We want you to know that this council is approachable, and we want to hear what you have on your mind about issues that concern you. But there's a way to do it that will get more bang for your buck from us to you. There's that old saying about you catch more bees with honey. Well, that's true. When you come up here and you start shouting, I know the issue is important to you. I know you're already aggravated or angered at the issue that you're coming forth with. But if you come up here and you start shouting and yelling, and your arguments and your anger rather comes to front there, you're drowning out the issue that's important for you to talk about. Therefore, we're not listening to the issue that is something you're bringing forth and you want our involvement into it. We're hearing you shout and yell. So my suggestion is this. Come forth with common respect, common courtesy, leave your anger at the door and talk to us. All right? We're here to help you. I know in the past I may not have seen that with other councils, but we are approachable. We ran on openness, transparency, and accountability, and that's what we're doing here. I try to run these meetings a little informal, formal, so that you have you're a little more at ease when you come up here. I sat in the audience for over 2 years. I know it's nerve-wracking when you come up and talk to the podium. You're already nervous, and it's hard to speak in public. I'm still learning how to do that myself. But what I will tell you is you will catch more bees again with honey. If you come in here, discuss your issue. If we can't get to it through the meeting, we will talk to you afterwards. We answer emails. We answer phone calls. We're here to help you. So once again, common courtesy, common respect, leave your anger at the door, and come in and discuss your issues. That's the last I will say of that. But I will, if it gets out of hand, ask you to leave. I will show you the door myself, or I'll ask to have my chief do that same thing. All right, moving on. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Squirrel makes a second. Any discussion? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on, do I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Muehlbauer makes that second. For any discussion? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, Barb, moving on to open to the public. Do we have anyone to speak?
Yes, we have 3 people. First one's Pete Karpke.
All right. Please come up and state your name and address, please.
24069 Road Boulevard. Mr. Mayor, council members, I have a item that I'd like to discuss with you, and it dates back to 2008. 2007, I had pulled a building permit for my home, and 2008, everybody recognized that we were in a recession, but we didn't realize how long or hard it was going to be. As a result of that, I was using my money for, instead of finishing the house, just try to make the payments, which we ultimately were blessed to be able to keep the house, but we weren't left with much left just besides the living expenses. As a result of that, the city of St. Francis had imposed a $4,600 fine for me not being able to complete my home. The exterior of the house, everything else was done. That has been completed. And on Friday, I had building inspector came outside office, and I've been talking to Joe regarding the possibility of somewhat of that portion being returned. Now, here's the deal. I paid $96 for a permit for the house. So I'll ask, if you want to ask me any questions, I can probably answer them for you. Otherwise, my position would be I'd ask the council to refer this to council or staff to come up with a reasonable solution, which I'd be happy and amenable to agree to. So,
Well, let me ask you, this is an existing home, not new construction?
correct.
Okay, and the date of the house is, year of the house?
Yes.
What year is it? It was 2008?
It was 2008.
Okay.
I started the house in 2006.
And so you re-sided it?
It was stucco, and I put on two sides, 1,700 square feet that I added to the home. And so it was in Tyvek. It was in good condition, which the building inspector came out and inspected it. And we finished stuccoing it, and I got to see or the completion of the final.
Right, but usually norm is, a permit is valid for, Kate can correct me if I'm right or wrong on this, but from 1 year from date of pulling the permit, you have 1 year, up to 1 year to complete the project.
Mayor and council, 6 months.
6 months now?
Correct.
Okay. So from, how recent did you complete it?
Well, it's been since last fall that we finished it, actually. I just called it for inspection for a final for this
Okay, so from the time when you pulled the permit, what year, what date was that?
2007.
2007,
Fall
okay?
of 2007.
And you just completed it,
Just the exterior, everything else was done. It was just the exterior that we needed to finish.
all right, but I'm trying to understand is that that it went for all that time frame. That's well over 6 months.
I would agree with you, Mr. Mayor, but my only, response to that or rebuttal to that would be that I understand as a former council member that, we in the city of St. Francis have ordinances that need to be upheld. I have no problem with that. The problem is that when we look at fines, when we look at fee structures, this is something that was awfully high. Secondly, is that what did it do to remedy the situation? I mean, I'm certain that the neighbors didn't want to see Tyvek, that my daughter before her wedding wasn't excited about seeing Tyvek for the house. It got completed, but the point that I'm making is that when we set up fines, it's try to get people to move forward in getting something completed. Our situation was a financial situation, we just didn't have it until, recently. So, the question that bears itself is, if we're setting up fines, just to have fines, okay, how does that remedify the actual completion of the project? And that's where our dilemma is, because when you have $4,600 that you have to pay, which was put on my taxes, which is all been paid, all right, how did that, remedy the problem? And it really did, all it did was put an excess burden, which has to be dealt with. And so now that it's completed, I'm saying what portion of that would be fair, if this was taken before a different group of individuals, they may not see it quite that way regarding an overcharge. I mean, $4,600 for a finish, is excessive. Anybody reasonably look at that.
Did you call the city and tell me you were under a financial hardship and wouldn't be able to go out? You did do that? And did you know who you talked to?
Mr. Matt,
Okay, all right.
I don't know if that's enough said, but yeah.
What year were you fined?
It was done and finished at 2009 was when the fining started. There was 4 letters that were sent. Okay, 4 letters, $4,600. Pretty high staff, charges if that's what it is. And I get that, our whole ultimate goal is to, I'm being out for 5 minutes, so I'm sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
The ultimate goal is to get people to comply. That's, when I was on council, we worked with people, we did everything we could. We worked with the screw, Danny, a real hard time. We worked with Danny during difficult times. And I'm just saying that was always our position prior, is to work with people to try to get that done. It wasn't that I didn't want to or I was negligent and not trying to get this completed. It was just that I was flat broke.
Let me ask you, what was the actual permit for? I mean, was it just for the siding or was it interior work?
Everything had been completed except the exterior.
All right, but what was the whole permit for? Was it
Just
just?
the building. I had added 1,700 square feet onto the house.
Okay, so it was an addition,
It was addition.
and the addition was what the new siding was going for in the area?
Correct.
Or was it tie-in to it?
Well, we redid the whole house, so
Okay.
it was, so all that.
All right, well, let me just state to you, I mean, I understand what you're saying about a previous city administrator, but you know, the last thing the city wants to do is fine people.
I get that.
Okay, that's not something that's on our, top of our plate. So, you know, before it gets to that, I mean, there's already runs a course of action. But you're saying you did notify the city council through him that you were, under a financial hardship?
And the other issue is that, you know, people who are pretty sharp and realize that whatever you want to put up as a fee on a house, and you want to put on the taxes, if the house is lost, the mortgage company's just going to pay it without question. It could be $50,000 and you would pay it without question. You know, that this would seem to be unreasonably high for this type of a violation. And if you look at it in the other ordinances, you find that it didn't want to do anything to correct the problem. You know, it was excessively high. And I do think that there should be some type of, you know.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think is a solution to your problem? What would you like to see?
To be honest with you, if the council would see to it that there was $1,000 fine, I'm certain that the 4 letters that were sent to me would awfully, you know, would be taken care of. But I'm willing to listen to staff. If you would feel comfortable with us negotiating something, given a leeway on that, or.
Was it just one fine, one flat fine?
One flat fine, $4,600, 4 letters.
And then it built up to 4,600 through interest and penalties, that's what I'm understanding, or?
You know, Mr. Mayor, I don't want to take away from Mr. Carpy's time. Typically, I think the administrative process that we go through, it does carry over year to year, and I think fines would accumulate if it's not remedied, then I think the fines would accumulate the following year and then the following year. So
And it was.
I think
It
it's
was.
probably a combination of.
It was 4 letters, 4 fines, adding up to $4,600.
Okay, so it's not just one time that you got fined, it's,
Correct.
it's
Correct. And
subsequent.
Each time I had talked to Mr. Hyland saying, hey, look, we're just strapped right
Okay.
now. We're working on this, we're trying to get it right.
So each time you got a letter, you called?
Yeah, he's notified.
Okay.
I guess me personally, I would like to see what staff has on this. If you guys can dig anything up and learn more about it, is what I'd like to have done myself. I don't know how the rest of you guys feel, but.
We can bring back a detailed timeline report of all the documentation we have.
If you don't think it's gonna take up, excessive time to further the situation.
We can prepare something for probably next meeting.
That's just my stance, I don't know.
Rich, you guys want to say?
No, I would agree, I think, yeah, before I would like to see that homework assignment done. And I think I do remember, since I've been on council, I do remember, I think your wife came and gave the same kind of request, so, and you know, that's sometime between sometime in 2015, I think.
Right.
So that was after Matt Hyland's time and before this current regime, but I do remember the same request coming forward, and I don't recall anything other than maybe, I don't know if we did, I don't think we did anything at the time.
No, because we were completed.
No,
So it was just saying, hey, look, we're at our rough, and that's all it was.
But you did notify him each time that you were still under financial hardship. Rob, you have anything to say?
I just want to look at the homework and see what a 12-month fine would be, and then
I tell you what, how about we have a work session on 22nd of May? How about we bring that to that work session, discuss it then and get back?
If we can have the report prepared by then, we
If we
will.
can.
If not,
All right, then.
we can give you some type of briefing and at least come back for the next council meeting.
Okay.
So.
Is that okay?
Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpy.
Next, Barb.
Leroy Shaker.
Yeah.
State your name and address, Leroy. Name and
Right, I
address.
always forget that, don't I? Well, I mean, it's such a stately neighborhood, the Woodhaven area, you know, hardworking people, whatever, and you all know where it is. And 4526 234th Avenue Northeast. By the way, I notice, I'm really talking real loud because I notice lots of times I cannot hear what you guys are saying. So I'm going to make sure everybody can hear what I say. Now, I have got a proposition for you. Oh, by the way, I know it sounds like Donald Trump time, what you call, but I want to express my appreciation for all of you people to be there. This is a big crowd on one side when I was a councilman now. This is exceptional, believe me. And I'm not being Donald Trump, I mean it. Now, the thing is, what I want to propose in that is I've got about 2 dozen of these great big, you know, like the cable things that they use, what do you call that? Consensus injury, when they put the cables out, stuff like this, these big round,
Spools.
spool, I've got them, about 2 dozen roughly. And I've got another 80 or 100 of these planks that are about 2 by 8, they technically call them, but they're really 7.5 inches. Now, they can be slapped together and made into a post for the table, which is pretty good size. Now, we've got a lot of parks around here and stuff like this. And I'm a cheap son of a bitch. I admit it. I go to McDonald's and have you know, the hamburgers. I do not like to spend a lot of money if I can help it. Now, I'm not the only one that has something to say about this, of course, and I'm just a personal one. But if I can get some volunteers, I will gladly donate that number. And maybe a few screws and nails. Let's do it ourselves, for God's sake. We're a small town. We had to grow up in a farming community. We're hard workers and whatever and that. Let some of you people come forward. And I'll donate the material. You do the labor. I'm almost 78 years old, so I hope some of you young bucks can get out there and do a little work. Because I'm liable to run out of gas. But I'll give it my best shot. I'll try to get under that doggone trailer of mine and drag that stuff out. But I do need some help. And I do need some, maybe some parks or something else, some advice on just where to do this.
What are you building?
Now, what are you building? What do you want done with these, or what's your purpose for them?
I'm giving it to you free. The material's coming free under my trailer.
What are you trying to build, though?
Trying to build, well, little picnic table, how's that? Well, like this, you can put down, you can put those 2 by 6s together like this, and then stick it down a few more inches besides, get it up the bottom, because they're about almost 4 feet high, so naturally you could do that little ground that you could dig into. Or you could put a partition, or you could put boards on the bottom like this, and you know, like this and like this, and stay like this here, you've got a stabilizer, you know. You could do it that way too, when maybe for material.
So you're thinking about tables for the parks is what you're thinking about?
Yes, table, picnic table for the park now.
Paul, do you see
Any
any possibility of
problem
that?
with that, guys? I know one time I got asked for, offered something free, and oh my God, we couldn't do it. The hell we can't do it.
All right. Paul, is there a possibility?
Thanks, Ray.
We might be able to use some of that for the parks? Now, I've seen over the years what he's talking about, and I've seen people make tables out of them, and they can look pretty nice. I mean, is there something we can do with it or not?
We can take a look at it. I suppose anything's possible at this point.
Okay. Tell you what, I'll come out with Paul and we'll look it over, okay?
If you would do so, now, it's good heavy stuff that, underneath the trailer and protected from the environment, you know, but it's still good shape. Yeah.
All right.
I think it could be used.
All right.
I use it.
All right, Paul, is that okay with you then? We'll make a trip over there? Okay, we'll get a hold of you, Larry. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ray.
Next.
Next one is Shelley Cosner.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I have a request, I'm not sure if I should be approaching the council, but some guidance would be appreciated.
Well, state your name and address first for the record.
Shelley Cosner, 24439 Riverbank Lane Northwest. Our home is on a T of Kings Highway, Riverbank Lane.
Yeah, we've been out there, yeah.
Our concern is a bus safety issue. We have a bus, number 14, that comes by every day. Pretty high rate of speed, stops just past our house, and does a U-turn, backs into Kings Highway, turns around a little bit, goes into our driveway, and then takes off north. My concern is that turnaround right there at the T is not a safe path to be in. It's been going on for a while, and I thought maybe it's just a different driver or something, and it was waiting.
It's a school bus though, is it?
Yes, it's a school bus.
And it's our system, ISD 15. Do you happen to have a number on it or something? 14, okay.
And it's around 6:30, 6:35 in the morning. That's a busy time for a little intersection, so I'm hoping.
And what's he doing, Shelley, exactly?
He comes from the north, just past our driveway, stops, backs into Kings, and then noses a little bit into our driveway and backs again. Basically does a U-turn right in the T.
In the
But that's
Every
to
single
work
morning,
its
yes,
way
and
up.
back and forth.
That's 6:30.
Every single morning. I'm really concerned that something is gonna happen in one of these times, and I don't think you should be turning around there. So I'm hoping we can maybe rectify that and not have it happen.
Joe, can we check on that with the school district?
We can notify the school district of that concern, and where they take it, it's gonna be up to them, so.
All right, we'll do that and follow up on it.
Thank you.
Okay, and just to let you know also, we have a work session with one topic coming up for your area. We'll, on 22nd work session, we'll set the date and let you know, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, Barb?
No one else.
Okay, all right. All right, moving on, special business, fire department badge presentation. Here's an honor I get, the first one. Let's do that.
Mayor, council, good evening. Tonight I'm honored to be presenting our badge ceremony for our 4 newest firefighters to the St. Francis Fire Department. These firefighters that went through our probation process for the fire department, 2 of them have done that, Jared and Logan. They attended the Milford County Fire Academy and spent many hours, hundreds of hours, getting their Fire 1, 2 hazmat and their EMT training. Joe and Chad came to us with fire training from previous departments with many years of service. Tonight we're going to start with Jared Belcher. Jared worked for Milford County for 8 years, 5 at the jail as a correctional officer, and 3 as our current dispatcher. His wife Jenny is with us tonight for completing his badge, and they have an 8-year-old daughter, Emma. He has served 8 years in the Army National Guard, went on 2 deployments, 1 to Turkey and 1 to Iraq. He has been on the department since February of 2016. Next is Joe Lawrence. Joe came to us with many years of fire experience in the Brooklyn Park Fire Department. He has worked many years at the David Banks Studios as a photographer. He is currently a paramedic with North Memorial. He moved to St. Francis for a small, quiet town atmosphere. He owns 2 Labrador retrievers. He enjoys going up north hunting, fishing in his free time. His favorite band is Elvis. His favorite food is bacon cheeseburger. And his dad, Randy, will be handing his badge for a while. Congrats.
I like them already.
Next is
Cheeseburger.
Logan Robinson.
Congratulations.
Logan grew up on his family's sod farm in Lima Lakes, Minnesota. After acquiring his design technology degree from Bemidji State University in the fall of 2011, Logan moved to Chicago to work as an exhibit designer. After living there for 2 years, he moved back to Minnesota and continues his career working remotely from here in St. Francis. Him and his wife, Christy, have been married for 6 years, and together they have a daughter who is a 1.5 years a son, named Adam. In his free time, Logan likes to hunt, fish, play guitar, and spend time with his family. Congrats. Last but not least is Chad Schroeder. Chad came to us with many years of experience from the Andover Fire Department. Chad started with flooring with his father-in-law and his own company. He has 2 children, Sophia and Isabella, and wife Amanda is here. So family members that are pinning the badges on their firefighter, could they come forward, please?
And I think our chief should get in there too.
Yeah.
This picture would look great on the website.
Let's rob into that.
And that concludes our badge presentation.
Be nice if we had a good song.
I don't have a good- That was a real honor for me, by the way. It was the first time for many to come. All right, moving on. Public hearings, none. Old business. Ordinance 228, second series amendment, Sunday off sale hours, second reading. Little discussion or motion first?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt that ordinance.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Tveit. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Bauer makes a second. Any discussion on this issue?
The only thing I had to say was I did, when I was up at the liquor store, I did ask a few of the employees how they felt. I was thrilled about it, but just because of the extra hours.
Joe, talk louder, please. We can't
Oh,
hear you.
sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. I spoke with a few of the employees at the liquor store, and they weren't real thrilled about having to work 7 days a week, because most of them are, it's like a part-time job, which we discussed. I was just curious how you're doing on the hiring there, I guess.
I just got back to the first set of applications, so we'll be doing the interview process shortly.
Okay. I guess that's it. That's all I have.
And oh, go ahead.
You know, for those that don't know, this ordinance, ordinance 228 second series, is an ordinance to allow us to open the liquor store on Sundays. We need to change our code in order to have our liquor store open, so that's what this is. So just so the public knows.
And just also let everybody know, we're talking about the hours to be, what, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., I think it is, state rules, state law? Okay.
On Sunday.
On Sunday long. Now, the other hours, we're changing from 10 to 10, I think it is, isn't it?
I believe we're gonna talk about that.
Talk about that?
Monday through Friday, I think, is what
Okay.
we're gonna do, 10 to 10, and regular hours, 9 to 10 on Saturday.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Oh, approval, right? Roll call. Oh, it's a roll call, it's an ordinance. Always remind me of that. Okay.
Muehlbauer,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Bauer,
Aye.
Skordal,
Aye.
Tveit.
Aye.
All right, ordinance passes. Okay, thank you for reminding me about ordinances, I always forget that. Anyway, all right, moving on to new business, purchase agreement on lot 32, PID 32-34-24-23-0039. We've all looked at it in our packets, I take it? Any discussion on it?
No, that's enough for me.
Pretty clear.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I like the idea that it's a cash offer. You know, to me, that's real favorable. Just like the last purchase agreement that we did, you know, I feel very comfortable accepting an amount of slightly less than what we're asking for, with the idea that there's going to be other revenues coming our way. You know, this is just vacant property. It's my understanding that the purchaser is going to put up, you know, some buildings or whatever, so there's going to be permitting fees, water access charge, sewer access charge. And then it's also going to be put on the tax rolls, which is nice.
Right, and also to let everybody know, the offer's more than what we paid for.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is on 47, which in our community plan, you know, we've had some meetings, we're looking at retail being more on Bridge Street and 47 being more commercial and industrial, which this does fit. A person the business interested in doing has been building out here for quite a long time. So they're involved in the community. I think it's a win-win all the way around myself, so.
Yep, let's get it back in circulation.
Let's get it back in circulation. So do I need a motion to approve on this one?
Mr. Mayor, I would direct staff to bring back the whole purchase
Okay.
agreement, and then there'll be an addenda to that.
Okay.
And the council can approve that at their next meeting.
All right, good, Dave. Let's do that then? Okay. All right, moving on then, Stacy Lee, appealing city fees. You'll have to come up, I'm sorry. Just relax, we're not going to bite you. Just name and address, and talk to the mic if you can.
You're making it tougher.
I purchased 2800 Kenmore Street.
Stacy, could you speak up a little bit? I've got lousy ears.
Maybe take
and
the mic
my
in your
hearing
hand if
aids
you want.
broke.
Yeah. It's the bad mic's not great, but.
And I've been looking for parents in St. Francis for over a year. I've been trying to build a house in Broadway. I'm a new resident, or soon to be a new resident, and I want to thank you for taking your time out of your agenda and then to listen to my parents' concerns and requests. I know each of you have read my letter from me, and I hope you have time to review it before tonight's meeting. I do not plan to read the letter again, but it will come from the city council members during the city and factor policies and small landowners. In my opinion, the city could improve its policy process for small landowners wishing to build a single-family home, provide better notice to small landowners in the intricacies and the process and fees with more detailed information, and more importantly, issue better estimates of consultant costs to small landowners like me. I started the process to buy my land and build a home in May of last year. I bought it from the Johnsons, excuse me. I immediately started the process to split my 40 acres into two 20-acre parcels. And I didn't get it done, split in, and I ended up having until late November. So now this year I'm starting to hopefully develop my own house. I conveyed 20 acres to my parents, and eventually hoping my brother will buy it and purchase and build a home right next to me. I paid for my subdivision fees, and that's for a total of $750. And the city, and then I asked the staff what the $400 escrow fee is for. They said they rarely go over this cost, but it's for extra expenditures covered in their fees. Per city code, I paid for my surveyor, paid the wetland delineation, and other road right-of-way improvements. I also paid for the site plans and building plans when they came to the city, staff approved them. Late last year, I learned for the first time that the city far exceeded the $400 escrow for its consultants. It was actually 6 times the amount of the $400 collected. I understand the current city code is that we have to pay all these fees. The details of additional costs incurred over the last years are in my letter. I paid over $16,000 in begun construction. I never thought it was going to be cheap, but I also never expected to be taken advantage of. My question is tonight, how is it that city staff has spent that much time on a simple 40-acre spot? I paid surveyors who have state license to do the surveys per city code for about $6,000. And then to have your surveyors look at my survey, they charge another $2,500. I just want to know the home for you and my family in St. Louis, which provides more tax revenue to the city. I hope you can help me resolve some of these issues. In conclusion, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to the new resident. I hope this sheds some light on some city processes. That does not give a small landowner any notice about city consultant reviews. Does not provide an estimate of the cost of those reviews. Hold my building permit hostage until the city collects all of these additional fees before they give me my building permit. And as small landowners living in a single home in a agricultural zone paying $2,500 in parks and dedication fee. But like I am a home developer for the intent to join homes in development. As I asked in my letter, I'm asking the city to reduce my fees. I'm also asking tonight the city improvements process so this doesn't happen to anyone else. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so let me ask you some questions, because I've been in conversations with our attorney, our city administrator, our community development director, and having some experience as a builder, I understand, you know, when you started doing this, this thought of dividing this lot into 220s, which isn't really 2020, it's 1972 for your parents' side, 1975 for your side. So basically that's about a city lot shy of 20 acres. That's about just under 11,000 square feet. So when you decided to come forth here, and once again, I want to emphasize to people watching us here and in the council chambers here, the city is here to help, okay? I mean, I know you don't feel like that at this particular point here, and you have a new council here, which you didn't have before, okay? So we have a little different way of doing things a little bit now versus the other ways, and that we're not gonna, we don't have a black and white type of thing, we don't have a turnoff type of thing, we will listen. At the end of the day, we still may not be able to give the decision that you want to hear, but we will be open and lend you a full ear on the issue. So, when you first started doing this, did you do some homework on your own and call up and say, you know, what do I need to do? Like, for instance, when I'm building a house, okay, if I'm developing, which I've done both developing and building, if I'm developing, I'm calling up the community development director and the community planner to see what I have to do as far as what my project will require to complete. If I'm doing a building, then I'm talking to the building official of the city to see what's required. When they give me, I'll do a survey, and at the end of the project, I'll do an as-built survey. And then in the interim, they will give me, as I apply for my permit, they will give me a plan that's drawn up with their notations on it and marked in red, so I need to follow those requirements. And at the end, if I don't, then all blame falls on me. So what I want, in other words, I go in with my eyes wide open. Now, I've done that over 25 years, so in the beginning, it wasn't exactly that smooth. I learned how to do this as time went on. So my question to you, once again, is when you came forth, did you call up and ask a lot of these questions before you got so financial into it?
Before I bought the land.
Not before you bought the land, but before you thought of subdividing. Did you ask questions of
The guy down the road who bought the other 40 acres and they split, he told me what he had to go through, and he said, you need to do this. So I ended up using his same survey people and his same, his same things, because this is what the city required him to do, and he built already.
Now, was he a builder, a developer, or just a... Is that Emmerich that you're talking about? Because I just want to say to you, had you hired a builder to do what you're doing, those fees would already be in there. You wouldn't maybe see them. They would be there in a lump sum amount, broken down. Because, like for instance, perk tests that you're going to be doing for septic, that's standard procedure. You can't just put a septic field anywhere. You have to do perk tests. Like sometimes when we're building structures, we do subboards. Well, I'm saying, but I mean, in other words, it's not as easy as you may think. I mean, there's a lot to it. You just can't, you know, it'd be one thing if you lived on 1,000 acres up by the Arctic Circle. Well, then you could do pretty much what you want, but you don't. You live here.
I never understood how much I can do, how much they charge for a lot. I can totally understand how much they charge for a lot now. I mean, all the fees that come.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say too is I've had a discussion with our community development director today. She's going to be getting together with our community planner and putting up a criteria sheet so that you can come to us and find out exactly what you need.
Well, and I talked to Kate too. She said, yeah, we need to, I can't remember exactly, but I don't want to say it. It's something about that. We need to be more, or you need to know to advise people how much it might cost more. I can't remember how to say it.
I mean, it's a wonderful idea to have 40 acres and divide it in two and give a section to your family. I understand all that. But at the same time, I mean, I want you to understand some of the things. And I'm just going to discuss, and I'll open it up to discussion here. But you know, one of the things is, I mean, if we do something for you, then we've got Emmerich on that side. Then we also got people that will hear this and then go, well, I did this 5 years ago. Why can't I get this? So it pretty much, you know, puts us as a real predicament. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but in governing, and I'm learning this as I go too, by the way, that you can't make everybody happy. And I ran on trying to do right by the majority of the residents at any one time. And being fair, firm, and square, open, transparent, accountable, that's what I ran on, and that's what I want to continue on. So like I say again, I mean, you know, how this works out here, we'll have more discussion on this, is that, you know, we want to be consistent, which I don't feel was here before, okay? That's for sure. And we want to lend you the full ear so that we can discuss things openly and let you know that we do listen, which we are, okay? But like I say again, I mean, it's a situation where the verbiage in the statute is pretty plain, and I understand your attorney has some input to having that written up, what I understand. But at the same time, and I also understand there are some counties out there that have amended some things otherwise. So, but here's the thing. If we go from 40 acres, which divided by 2 is 20, and we give a margin of error to 35, which is 17 and a half right there in that thing, then what if somebody comes in and when it's 30, then we go 15? Do we keep going down to make everybody happy, or do we just stay consistent in this way here? And I'm just trying to explain that in a governmental way, okay? So at that point, let me open up for some discussion here, because I'm sure we're going to have some.
You know, Mr. Mayor, that's one thing it's real difficult being up here. And I know a lot of people don't understand why we'd like to do this job, because it is hard. I like consistency, because if somebody buys a piece of property and it's, you know, there's different rules for everybody, you never know what you're going to get. And I like things black and white and cut and dry and one rule for everybody. I mean, I'm not sure if we can talk about the fees. I don't know if our fees are higher than other people, but our fees are set on our fee schedule yearly. And, you know, so I know sometimes that they go up and down. Some of the fees I don't think that we have control over, like the soil testing or the septic design and stuff. I mean, that's not our requirement. It's required by other people. But I like to have consistency, and that way it's plain and simple. And with the new website we got, we'll be able to log on and just see what it is. Otherwise, if things are kind of go with the ebb and flow, I think it's going to be really difficult for somebody to plan if every time they look at the website, it may change. So I am of the opinion that I like consistency, and although, I'm not saying we shouldn't work with people, but I think there are some things that you can work with and some things that have to be black and white.
Joe, anybody?
I think for me, I'd like to discuss it more with staff and myself, just to have a better understanding of some of this stuff. I mean, I'm sure it was done the way it's written out. I'm curious here, I guess, like I see a building permit fee that looks to be new, when I'm understanding it, if I'm understanding it right, that you paid a similar fee already in that total of $16,000 that you say you paid to date, or?
That was just everything.
That's everything.
That's okay.
Between all the surveys and building permits.
But also, just so you know, I mean, that building permit for under $3,400 is cheap compared to someone on a city lot, because they're paying a sewer ply charge, access charge, and a water. That can run, I pulled permits as high over $10,000. So to me, when I see $3,400, I'm saying grab it. But on the other hand, the offshot of that, of course, is you're doing septic or well. And septic or well can run you anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000, depending on how deep you go, what size pipe you use. A 1 inch versus a 3/4, whatever. I suggest you do a 1 inch, by the way. Make sure you have water flow. But anyway, Shelley knows what I'm telling you. But I'm saying to you that so there's your offset. I mean, so permits higher on one end, but you're going to be higher on some other expenses. This is kind of like what I call sticker shock. I mean, you come in thinking one thing, and then all of a sudden you see another number, and it's like, what do I do now? And I don't want to be turned over. And I agree with consistency and all that. And as far as the park dedication, I did talk to the planner today, Ben Gazzola from Sambatech, that's our new planner, and he says the way the park dedication fee is set up is, even though there's not going to be a park on your land, okay, but what it does is we have everybody put into the kitty to maintain and do new parks throughout the city for the betterment of all. You may use them, you may not use them, I don't know. It's kind of like somebody on septic or well is on septic or well, but does use a county market that's on city sewer water. So it's an indirect, direct type of thing. Doesn't make it any easier for your pocketbook, I understand that, but I'm just trying to give some logic or reason why we do what we do. Once again, I mean, when people come here to the city as far as an issue, you're already angry to begin with. I understand that. I mean, you're but I'm saying, I mean, we face that, and we face carryover from past years, things that we're catching up. I've stated before, and I'll state it again, problems, you cannot ignore them, because once you ignore them, they don't go away, they just get worse. So we're trying to change that mindset here today. But I just think that through your specific situation, again, Kate, our community development director, along with Ben Gazzola, our community planner, will make up more of a criteria sheet to let people know. My advice, and of course, you won't be doing this again, but talking to a neighbor, it's much better going right to the city. And I say that to everybody on the camera, everybody in general. If you want to know if there's and our website, as Jerry alluded to, will be up and running by August. You'll be able to see all the codes and everything right there and all that. But until then, call the city. Find out, do you need a permit? Do what's required of you. Then you're covering your own behind, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And we're here to help, really are. Now, Rob, do you have any discussion on this?
I do, Mr. Mayor. And this may not apply to you, it may apply to other people in the near future. If she was to pull those fees on the 40 acres and then split it, would that other 20 have to pay the exact same fees?
Mayor and Council, I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
Well, she has fees for building. If she would have pulled those permits on 40 acres.
She would have just done a building permit on it, on the
And
40,
paid-
140, one structure on
On
140.
140.
Right.
Mayor and
And
Council.
then split it.
Yep, well, if she would have, yes. So if she would have built on the home, on the 40 acres first, pieces like the soil testing, septic, we would have still required a survey and staking for a new construction. That's standard with every new construction. If she would have split it once there was a home on one parcel, it still would have triggered all of the fees to separate for the park dedication and the application process.
The only way she gets around that is if she was above 20.
Correct.
Right. So unless you can annex another 5 acres from somebody.
Well, and that's what that lawyer, because I straight out just asked him, and he got into this tangent about, you created this law for this thing, and I'm like, okay, but I just want to know honestly, that wasn't even what I turned in my mind. Do I have to pay the parks and dedication, and do I have to pay the all this extra $2,000 fee? He went off of that, and I got kind of stuck in. So now I'm in.
Yeah, and that's a sad part here. But like I say, as I said to you earlier, Stacy, is that because I had discussed this with our city attorney as far as a leeway or a little cushion area between 35 acres and 40 acres, and again that'd be 17 and a half versus 20. And then, like I say again, someone will come forth and go, well, I don't have that, I have 30. Can you amend it again? And then it becomes a domino effect. And then we're sitting here, it's like one thing when we interviewed our planner, and I know our community development director said this to me more than once. Changing policy and ordinances should not be an easy thing to do, because you can't. If you do it easily, then you're trying to make everybody happy, and you can't make everybody happy. Governing here, governing is not easy. I mean, I'd like to make everybody happy, but I know at the end of the night I can't. What I try to do, and I'm pretty sure the council's for that too, by the way, as I said before, is making the majority of the residents happy, working on the benefit of the majority, which is basically what our country was designed on. But I just state that just so you understand. It's an effect here. If we start it, when do we stop it? That's the kicker. So, Rich, you have anything to say on this?
I don't think I have anything to add. I think I agree with the comments made so far. I'm glad you brought forward the point about the park dedication fees, because that is the only method we have to go fill the kitty to procure parkland, or, I mean, that's it. So that's consistent across everybody that develops in the city, whether it's out where you are or somebody that develops within the sewer district. I mean, that is the only way we have to do that. I think consistency is important. Treating everyone the same way is important. I mean, everyone would want to do this, is going to go through this process and pay those fees. You unfortunately bump right up against that 20-acre requirement, and you fall just underneath it. Like the mayor says, I guess the rules are the way the rules are today. If we as a council think we should change that, that's fine, but that's a discussion for the future. But you're right. I mean, if you change it to a different value, somebody else is going to come in just as close. And if you react to that, somebody else is going to come in just as close. So I think I'm of the opinion that it is what it is, but I also, and this isn't going to help you, but I don't know if it's possible to help the next people that come in. And I understand when you go off on these processes and you're doing it for the first time, it is daunting. And you go try to read our city code, it's daunting. But the city code is written the way it's written for a reason. Land is probably one of the most important things anybody's gonna buy in their lifetime. You don't want ambiguity in ordinances that dictate what you can and can't do with land. So to get into those documents can be tough. And sometimes I've wondered, like when I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 12 years, people would come in with variance requests for, I want to build my realtor said I can build a deck here, but they find out, well, they can't because it's a corner lot, so they don't have enough setback. Sometimes I wondered if there's, how should I say it, cliff notes or a how-to for the common questions that people come in and ask. I wouldn't say yours is a real common one for somebody, I'll say a novice, and don't take that, don't take offense to that. But if a novice wants to come in and do a lot split, that's not too typical. So I don't know how you can make if you can make this checklist, you can make something that kind of boils it down to these are the gates you have to go through to get done what you want to get done. I think that would be very helpful. Again, it's not helping your situation. This is coming, you're bringing it to our attention.
Right.
But
I know the company did pass, or they passed for that statute, whatever the lawyer said the statute was. That's how they split my land. That's how they have it in the record.
Yeah, I mean, and like for instance, your will you have to register that with the state and whatever. There's always somebody in it, because it's maybe people in general think that the governments just have their pocket, they want money here, money there, and all that. We're not trying to do that here, okay? But your situation, I mean, if we give you an edge, then Emmerich, that's just south of you, they'll come back and want the same thing, and someone else is going to want to. It really puts us into this. I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot ever since I got your letter. I've been really working on this, and I've made numerous calls, and I've stated before, and that is the truth. I agree with Jerry. I mean, consistency is a good thing. It alleviates some of these problems down the road. And once again, just to let you know, had you hired a builder or developer to do this, those fees would still be there. It would not be, they'd just be in a bulk, $540,000. Yeah, you wouldn't know what it broke down unless you asked for it, because that's the way it would be. Like I say again, when I build a house, I don't break down a permit unless they ask me for it, but that permit, I'll put in $10,000. I'm not breaking down the sack and whack and everything else that goes with it, but it's in that purchase price. So, and again, just as I talked to today to our planner about the park dedication fee, and Rich alluded to, it is about the only way we can get revenue to maintain those trails and parks. So we look at it for the broader picture of the city at whole. I know that doesn't do you any good, as Rich stated. I mean, you're not going to be going to those parks, but someday you may with your children. I don't know, but it's for the betterment of the general population at large is what it's for. So.
The other question I have is the molded soil or whatever, where you have to be 3 feet above it. And
Say that again now.
you know where you have to be 3 feet above the molded
bring your
soil,
grate,
the
you know?
highest water.
You're talking about your septic system.
No, my house, where they did the soil testing, and you have to be so many feet above it.
Well, you're on model.
They only let you dig down as opposed to.
Oh, because of water table, but you got model,
okay,
you got model
okay,
soil,
okay.
right? Right, but you have to replace that soil with good soil.
Right.
Right, and then you want to be above the water table for your own good.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want the water
But
problems.
he was talking something about subsidies or foot subsidies or 2 foot, he's never seen 3 feet above that.
Well, I would only think that we have a higher water table maybe than where you are right now. We have one other gentleman who just dug a hole on his lot, and it wasn't rain that filled up that hole, I will guarantee you that. So that's something we can work with you on, all that. I mean, I'll put it like this. If you want a straight answer, come here, okay? Because we're going to give you the straight answer. It may not be the answer you want to hear, but it will be the straight, honest, to the best ability we can. If we don't know the answer to that question, we will find the answer for you. That I can assure you.
Yeah, because he just told me $37,000 for your regulations.
Well, wait till after the meeting. I'd love to talk to you about that one.
Okay.
As a builder, I surely would, okay?
All right.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Do I need a motion or anything like this on this or anything? Just a discussion? Okay. By the way, you presented yourself very well, Stacy, so thank you. Okay. Moving on to a second open to the meeting. Do we have anybody?
There's no one to sign up.
Okay. Just also in general here, just to let everybody know, there's always 2 segments open. There's a meeting open to the public in the beginning and one at the end. That way, if you come late or don't understand something, you can bring up your concerns at that second one. All you have to do is come up to the podium, sign in at that time, and state your name and address. Okay, moving on, Public Works Department. Paul, you're up.
In your packet tonight is our monthly report for the Public Works Department. One thing I do want to point out, this is the April report. So if you recall, we put seed sludge in the plant, the wastewater plant, April 10th. And if you look at our wastewater sampling results, the influent and effluent test results, you'll see significant reduction in those constituents. So even with the plant processing some of the old pond water, which taxes the system a little bit more than what it would under normal load, we're still seeing impressive results. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody. We should continue to see improvements in those results as we...
So little microbes are working the way they're supposed to?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Our bugs are happy.
Happy bugs makes a happy community.
And also, in the off-week memo, I did mention that we were looking at repairing a hydrant coming up here soon. We are delaying that with the possibility of thunderstorms this week. We're looking at a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, 1 a.m., possibly if the weather allows us. If not, we'll push it into next week. We want to make sure that we are impacting those 5 businesses and 1 apartment building any more than we have to.
Now, where's that exactly? What location?
It's on Bridge Street, right near the lanes.
Okay. Boy Lanes?
Yep.
All right.
And then I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Any more questions?
I guess I have a question for the Public Works Director, not about your report, but is there, excuse me, is County Road 72 north of the high school still on the county's agenda for this summer?
Yes, and that is on their Anoka County weekly construction report. It is identified in their 2017 map of overlays and reconstruct areas. So it would be from essentially the high school parking lot entrance to 235th. Is where they would reconstruct that section of road. And my last conversation a couple weeks ago with one of the county engineers is that they still plan on doing it. I don't have a specific date or schedule yet. So.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question about the parking lot and the maintenance entrance there at the school as well. Is that, I know this, the CUP and all that stuff hasn't been fully ran through yet by the city, but as of now, are they supposed to be, parents and whatnot, supposed to be using that as an exit or entry, or as far as I know, it shouldn't even exist, but from what I understand, it's being used as a normal exit, and I don't know exactly why or what is kind of going on with that, I guess, so I didn't know if you were aware of anything like that.
I'm not aware of anything. I don't know if anybody else is aware of any requirements that we ask them not to use it.
I don't think we did ask them to do anything, I don't think, honestly.
Well, we're going to bring it at the work session.
Right, but I just
discuss
wanted to,
this thoroughly.
somebody called me about it, so that reminded me of
We
it.
have an application in front of us. We have no prohibition or anything on
Right.
what they're doing, so it's still kind of waiting for the application to formally process.
Yeah.
Because one of the other concerns I have is that initial use will be from August to November, and they're using it now, so there's some things that we have to discuss on that.
Yeah, that's just, it reminded me when he brought it up.
Well, I was going to ask you something too myself. Signage for speed signs on Bridge Street, which is county, I know. Have we notified them about that?
We did talk to the county about that, and I did ask them last week if they had heard anything back from MnDOT yet, and they had not. So once I do hear back from them, I'll certainly let everybody know.
Rob, any?
Nothing for me, I got my questions answered earlier.
Sure. Pardon? You got anything?
Yeah, there was actually a couple things I wanted to bring up.
What? With this?
Well, not with the Public Works.
Just for his.
Well, that
Yeah,
part.
yeah,
Well, then how
just-
about if we wait till we get to council member reports?
We're there.
We do
Yep,
that?
yeah, and that's,
Okay.
that's right, I thought you.
Okay, no, I
we
just
were
want to
done
make sure we're
that,
done
and
with
you
Paul. We're done
skipped
with
it.
Paul?
Okay.
You're on the clear. I would like to talk to
You're in the clear.
Okay, well, so, okay. Let's move on to council member reports, and Jerry, you're first up.
Okay, first thing I wanted to bring up, May 24th, we're having a meeting for the St. Francis Forward comprehensive plan, and we're inviting.
Right here for everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically what it is, I would also invite Stacy to come to that, if she's gonna a future resident here. You know, we'd love to get your input and find out what you want St. Francis to be like in the future. And it would, you know, talk about lots and properties and zoning and everything, so, I invite everybody to come to that. The second thing that I'd like to bring up is, I'm actually on the St. Francis Ambassadors Board. They're a 501c3, and they are sending out letters for sponsors. They're actually looking for sponsors, if anybody would like to sponsor the Ambassadors Club. There are 4 levels that you can sponsor. There's some of the benefits is just advertising. The ambassadors go all over the metropolitan area. Every weekend they're at a parade, and they're just busy as heck. But, you know, there's anywhere from like $200 all the way up to $1,000 that if there's businesses that would like to sponsor them, please contact the ambassadors, or you can contact me, and we can put you in touch with the right people to do that, if it's something you're interested in. I want to say congratulations to the class of 2017. My youngest daughter is graduating this year, so I want to say congratulations to her. And, you know, I hope that as school gets out, I know we're going to have another council meeting before then, but it seems like it takes a little bit for drivers to realize that kids are not in school. So, you know, next month there's going to be kids running all over the place, and times that you're not used to seeing them. So, you know, understand school's out, try to drive safer, slower, and because kids aren't always good about pushing that walk button. So just, I want to remind everybody about that. And the last thing I want to talk about, as we're driving around trying not to hit kids, we're probably going to be hitting some potholes too. I know everybody got a letter from somebody that hit a pothole, and if there is a pothole, let us know. If it's on a city street, you know, we can try to inventory that and get it fixed, to put it on the list. I know there's a lot of stuff to do, so it might not get fixed right away, but we'll do our best. If it's a county road, on the county website, there's actually a link that you can report a problem. You can just click on it and type in the problem, and it'll issue you like a work request, and it's really cool. So that's a really great way to communicate with the county if there was a problem, and I've done it several times with like graffiti underneath the bridge by the library, and there was some stuff painted there, so I just went in there, typed it in, and lo and behold, this stuff got painted like quick.
And we'll do that with our new website too, by the way.
So yeah, it's awesome. So, you know, what we need is location and your name and contact number, and that way we can find out where it's at and what problems it's causing and get on it. So that's all I've got.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it, or ladies, I should say. May 24th, very important. Obviously be here, 6 o'clock. Pioneer Days as well, they're looking for volunteers, and it's on the city Facebook page, the city web page. So they're still taking volunteers, all the information is on there. If you're interested to please volunteer. And I guess I got to go on a tour with our Public Works Director and Mayor and City Administrator of a wastewater treatment facility down there in Blue Lake, and it was very impressive with some of the solar stuff they have down there and just everything they have going on. So that's all.
Okay, Ralph?
I'd like to make a few announcements. It's National Peace Officer Memorial Day. I want to thank all the police officers and make sure that all your officers knows This was proclamated by President Kennedy in 1962, and it's a great thing. We need to speak up for our police officers and give them a handshake if you see one today. Also, ISD 15 school board referendum is May 23rd. School board is asking for more of your tax dollars. I am saddened that ISD 15 didn't come to our city council meeting before this referendum and speak to the St. Francis residents. But nevertheless, go to ISD 15's website and look at all their proposals. Go out and vote, either yes or no.
On the 23rd.
May 23rd. That's it.
Rich?
Sit down here at the end, you guys steal all my thunder.
Well, next time.
I don't know what else I can add. No, I guess I got this. Yeah, whoever had a birthday, happy birthday. I had the same email about the potholes on the school bus route. Yeah, the May 24th meeting is really important. It's not only just the comp plan, but it's also the wrap up of the original St. Francis Forward effort that's been going on for the last year. So your input is really important. That's all I got. Start with me next time.
I will. You got my promise.
Now that I've said that, now I've got to come up with something for next time.
Well, the first one. All right, now it comes down to me. First of all, I want to hold this up again. You probably got this in your mail. At least I hope you did, okay? And this, as Rich alluded to, this is important. Everybody up here actually alluded to this. This is your town, and you need to help us design your town up out to 2040. This was required by the Met Council, but it helps us get an idea of where we want this town to be. So we have discussed, like I said earlier, about Bridge Street being more for retail, 47 being more for commercial and industrial. That's our hopes. It's going to be a work in progress for many years to come. I've handed a lot of these flyers out at the recycling day. You got them in your mail. Now it's up to you to come forth. If you can't make it to the meeting, call up an idea. Give us an idea. Call up, a bar and city clerk, call Kate, Community Development. Call up and give us an idea. Email it in, whatever. But
Or email.
But be part of this, because it's your city too. It's just, I'd like to tell you that we can come up with all the ideas. We can't. We're just five guys with different thoughts. We want to widen that perspective and have your input. That will help us a lot. So that's one of my big things there. As Rob said here, May 23rd for the ISD vote on the bonding. This council could vote 5-0 against it, wouldn't make a difference. 5-0 for it, wouldn't make a difference. I have one vote, my wife has one vote, so on and so forth. We're residents just like you. So you need to come out and make your opinion or your decision, your thoughts open and transparent to the ISD people. So all I can say to you is the information is on the website there as we know it to be true and factual. Read it, make sure you make an informed decision, but this is about how they're spending your tax dollars. And we don't have any input. So I've heard people blame the council, or why can't the council do anything? I've been to a lot of meetings, so has staff been with a lot of meetings. And I have no more pull than you do. I got one vote, just one vote. But I'm going to make my vote heard on the 23rd. I hope you do too. Okay? Now, also, I want to go on here on a couple things here. There's 1 week effective tomorrow in the legislative session, okay? Unless the governor calls for a special session. Now, I copied off some things here. We're still waiting for the grant money for our wastewater treatment facility, our water infrastructure fund grant program money, our point source implement grant program money, PSIG and WIP, as we call them. We have wrote letters before, past councils have written letters. We've made our points, our thoughts known to the state, but now we need your help. And I'm talking on the camera too to everybody, because as far as the water infrastructure fund, the governor is requesting $80 million. The House is proposals for $55 million, and the Senate is $70 million. I don't know why they can't come to a common ground, and pass this thing already after 2 years. Maybe you guys can do something by calling up Michelle Benson, Kirk Dowd. Let them know how you feel, because this is important. We've got a bond out for another year coming up. We're paying interest because we thought we were going to get money that we didn't get. Would I wish that we waited till we had the money in hand? Yeah, we did. So now this is a big deal. This will help. This will affect rates. We need this money. Before it was maybe just a wish thing. Now it's a need. Now another example here is Point Source Implement Grants Program, PSIG. The governor's proposal is $62 million. The House is 33.7 million, and then you have 46.5 with the Senate. Why they can't come together in a commonality, a common ground, one come down a little bit, one come up a little bit, and work it out for the betterment of the residents and their constituents, I don't have any idea. What I don't like is the fact that they may be playing a political game with this, which frustrates the heck out of me. But all I can say to you is your help, you, the people, make the difference, okay? I'm one person, I can make a call, maybe I get a little return phone call a little quicker because I'm the mayor now versus just a resident. But neither, regardless of whatever way it is, the more people call and let your opinion be told to them, pass the grant money. You know, I was just told recently by the chairperson of the MPCA that the money's there. Let's put it to use. And the best place to put it to use is to help us pay down this debt load we have on this wastewater treatment facility. So once again, call Michelle Benson, call Kurt Dowdle for the next 7 days, bombard them with phone calls. And hopefully, we'll get that money this year and not have to wait another year. That's one big thing I want to get off my chest while I can. Also, I will say again, as I've said many times before, roundabouts, please signal your turns when you're exiting, so people know they can enter safely. It's a good thing, especially, as Jerry alluded to, with people getting out of school now, you're going to have more traffic, more people walking the streets and stuff like that. That's a big deal. Pioneer Days is coming. I'm going to volunteer my butt off, so I'll be there all the time. I know that. And wherever anybody can, it's a big time for us, and I want to be part of it, and I know everybody else. And when I've got time, whatever you put what you can into it. But it's a big thing for our city, and hopefully it'll be a nice weather-wise, and it'll turn out really good again. Once again, I want to commend staff on Recycle Days. I thought it was excellent. It was a really great way for me to pass out 400 flyers. They didn't trust me with money, but they trusted me with the flyers. But that was good. So, on that, I would say, hope you start to enjoy your summer. I think it's here. At least I hope it is, anyways. And I think that's about it. Any other further discussion of any kind? Then I'll call this meeting adjourned at 7:11.